We have some brand new information about Avengers Endgame Encore, the re-release of Avengers Endgame, including some new scenes that Marvel is indeed going to be showing in this, when to expect the first trailer, and why. We are getting the first trailer on a very specific date. What is going on, Cosmic Crew? Thanks for stopping by the channel. Avengers Endgame Encore is hitting theaters a little bit before Avengers Doomsday comes out, and it's hitting theaters for a very specific reason. One, I always maintain that they are trying to reclaim the title of the world's biggest movie back from Avatar. They had it, Endgame had it, until Avatar came out and re-released and took it, but now Avengers Endgame is coming back out, and I think it's a big marketing push for them to obviously be able to say, from the people who brought you the #1 movie of all time, and to be able to say the last Avengers movie was the #1 movie of all time, Avengers Endgame. So big marketing ploy here, but here's what we know about what they're including. We're getting new footage. This is going to include about 7 minutes of additional content from what we're hearing. There's going to be a custom intro sequence, and if you've probably seen the one from SpiderMan Brand New Day, it actually had some very intricate details in it. Really cool details. Lots of words from the last one from Doctor Strange's spell and some, dialogue that they were having in between each other, and Peter Parker was literally disappearing from pictures. It was really cool. So something like that, a custom intro sequence, new bonus scenes, and a revised ending / post-credit scene. So we didn't actually get a post-credit scene for Endgame. Now it looks like we are going to get it, and a revised ending scene, which we're going to talk about in this video. The purpose of this is also to bridge the gap between Endgame and Avengers Doomsday. It's going to lead right into it. So this is coming from the insider account No More Mutants, and they say Avengers Endgame Encore spoilers. Trailer on August 25th, and that's actually coming from the very reliable insider Cryptic HD Quality. They stated recently, trailer on August 25th. There's a big reason that they're doing this trailer on August 25th, because Endgame Encore comes out September 25th, just a month later. So this is most likely when tickets are going to go on sale, a month in advance. So note this date. If these reports are accurate, that's when we should get the trailer, which should show some new scenes, probably like one little bit of one new scene, and that should be when tickets go on sale, and it's going to go on sale for Infinity Vision, Marvel and Disney's new, premium format screening that they're going to show Avengers Doomsday on as well. So trailer August 25th, look out for that, plus tickets on sale. Now they talk about some new scenes from the movie, and I like this a lot, and I think it really will do a great job at bridging the gap. Scenes were added of Steve talking with Pepper and Scott at Tony's funeral. Now, it's really interesting. It obviously makes sense for him to talk to Pepper, right? She was married to Tony. They had Morgan together. Steve and Tony went through a lot. It makes sense that he would go to Pepper and say something to her. Maybe it's just some kind words. Maybe Pepper tells him something very important. We don't know, but it makes sense. Then with Scott. It's funny with Scott because it seemed like they were really setting him up to play a pretty big role with Avengers Kang Dynasty, because he fought Kang. He defeated Kang, or at least a variant of Kang, granted in a way that not a lot of people liked, but still. He was being set up to be a major character, and we've seen him in the trailer for Avengers Doomsday. He is going to be a main character in Avengers Doomsday. So I still think in some way, shape, or form, they're going to tie in what happened in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania with what is happening in Avengers Doomsday. That could simply be him stating, hey, I have had somewhat of an experience with the multiverse. I fought somebody who fought a lot of different people in a lot of different universes. Doom might say, yeah, I took care of that problem, which I would love for that to happen. I would love to hear Doom say, I took care of the Kangs. That would be fantastic. But him talking to him before makes a lot of sense. Also, the quantum realm, which is what they are using to go back in time. It makes a lot of sense that he would maybe tell Scott, hey, or ask him a question. Hey, can I just stay in there? Can I just stay in another universe? Will anything happen? And Scott might say, I don't think so. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But then it says Thor and Steve have a brotherly conversation. I like that. I just like that wording. Thor and Steve have a brotherly conversation. It obviously sets up the return, and obviously the trailer did as well. And Thor and Steve are kind of our big two. Right before it was the big three, the two of them with Iron Man. Iron Man is gone, so now it's Steve and Thor. We know Thor's going to be rocking Stormbreaker. We know Steve is going to be rocking the shattered Mjolnir put back together that has some cool and interesting new ways to use it that we saw Jane use it, like when it splatters apart, hits people, comes back, reforms together. I thought that was pretty cool in a movie that was, generally considered one of the worst Marvel movies that we got today, Thor: Love and Thunder. But then it says, Loki appears at Peggy and Steve's house. He explains that what the Avengers did in Endgame altered other universes because they think they traveled to the past, but they actually traveled to other universes and created a Nexus event. This is big. This is big because this would actually change what we think we know about what Steve Rogers did. If this is true, he didn't go back in time. They went to other universes, and that could really cause incursions. So some people were wondering, well, I don't understand, like if he went back in time, wouldn't it create a branch timeline, and it wouldn't necessarily cause other universes with their own timelines to come and have an incursion with ours? This really changes it. They didn't go and create a branch timeline somewhere. They went into another universe and started to cause incursions. That makes sense. And they state, for example, there's a universe where Infinity War won't happen because Thanos died. Gamora disappeared from that universe and Nebula is dead. Okay, so maybe we see that universe since they're talking about it, or maybe it's just an example they're using. But they do state there's a universe where Infinity War didn't happen because of certain events. Looks like we're going to visit some other universes in Avengers Endgame. I like what they're doing here. Steve moved to a timeline very similar to Earth 616, where we saw the ending of Endgame. There, they have a son whom you already saw in the trailer, James Rogers, named after Bucky. Endgame Encore ends with Steve, Peggy, and James. They're in a new futuristic universe in a cabin far from the city. Now, we pretty much know what's happening here. It's the Fantastic Four universe, right? So they're in a new futuristic universe in a cabin far from the city. Yeah, the Fantastic Four universe, we were in the 1960s, so it's back in time, but it is a futuristic looking universe. It is a really cool looking universe. It looks like the Jetsons, basically. So we know what happens here, although they don't state it. We know what happens, and we've seen some of it kind of play out in the trailer for Avengers Doomsday. Loki visits them, and he says, "You're not supposed to be here. And the fact that you're here is actually causing some pretty bad stuff to happen." And again, that would make perfect sense if they go to a different universe and that starts to cause an incursion with that universe. So he goes to a different universe. Loki shows up. "Hey, you're not supposed to be here. I gotta move you." He gives him the card that we see Steve have in the Avengers Doomsday trailer. That card, from what we've heard, is a way to contact Loki if he needs to, if anything comes up. And that's going to play a big role in Avengers Doomsday because based on what we're hearing, eventually he will use that card after he's already met Dr. Doom. And he's going to tell Thor about it as well. "Hey, I saw your brother, or at least a version of him." We're not really sure what Loki's going to tell Steve and how much Steve is really going to know about the multiverse. So it might simply be, "I saw Loki, he's alive." And maybe that's why Thor in the trailer is saying that's not possible. Maybe he's replying to Steve telling him, "Loki, your brother, is alive." And then Thor says, "Not possible." That's what I think is actually happening, to be perfectly honest. That or Loki shows up himself. But I do think Steve shows up and says, "Hey, I was in this other universe. Some crazy stuff happened. And Loki showed up. I have this card here as a means to contact him. Do you want to go contact him with me?" They go, and that's how they find out Dr. Doom is evil. But that's apparently some of what we're going to see. Not all of what we're going to see, but some of what we're going to see in the Avengers Endgame Encore re-release, which should be coming out, the trailer at least, August 25th, and the actual re-release September 25th. Enough time to give it, a little time in the theaters to become #1 movie of all time once again. So let me know what you think about this. Will this be, I'm pretty sure people would go see just Avengers Endgame with no new footage in the theaters again, just to prep for Doomsday and just to see it in the theaters one more time. But now that we're getting the new footage, do you think this is enough? Are you excited? Do you like this or not? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news. You can find a link to our Discord in the description down below, and you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.